my friends, I want to thank you all for subscribing. I want to thank all of my channel members for supporting me in this endeavor to save pop culture. And if you are not subscribed, please consider supporting this channel. We need you. Thank you. Greetings, my friends. I am Dictor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth. And today I bring you the bestest news ever. News I've longed to report since the first video I ever made on this channel over 3 years ago, after watching the first 4 episodes of the worst show ever made in the history of mankind, Star Trek Discovery. People, when I say Star Trek Discovery is the worstest show ever, I am not speaking in hyperbole. It is not exaggeration, sarcasm, a jest, or a ploy, and I am not kidding. Star Trek Discovery is so ugly, so stupid, so utterly without even one redeeming moment, scene, or line. There really is no way for me to adequately convey the depth of my loathing for this low point in human history, except perhaps by way of metaphor. And the metaphor that comes to mind is, Star Trek Discovery is about as intelligent as a retired syphilis-ridden Tijuana donkey that huffed furniture polish, ate lead paint chips, played for years in the NFL as a linesman without a helmet, and got dropped on its head from a great height. That's a fair analogy for how mind-blowingly stupid Star Trek Discovery is, provided the donkey wasn't very bright in the first place.
So you're saying that Star Trek Discovery is as dumb as a bag of differently abled hammers that have pounded on each other and pounded on each other and pounded on each other until they reach the point where 2 + 2 = duh.
Well put, Harvey Cthulhu. Yes, indeed. Any show where you have sonar in space, an AI that needs to read up on how to be the AI it already is so it can become an AI, and a production team that lets Mikey Spock actually hold her phaser backwards in a scene so that she's pointing it at herself and they leave it in for broadcast. This show is aptly compared to bags of hammers, demented donkeys, and things you find in piles on lawns in the wake of dogs who eat a lot of fiber. But that said, the stupidity and incompetence of this blight on the cognitive reputation of humanity isn't all that Star Trek Discovery has going against it. No, Harvey. Star Trek Discovery is the antithesis of Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek. Whereas the original Star Trek showed a bright, optimistic future for humanity filled with altruism, optimism, and equality for all living beings, Star Trek Discovery is a dark, grim, hideous shithole chock full of severed baby heads, F-bombs, cannibalism in the form of tribbles corrupted with human DNA, and graphically violent eye torture. Star Trek used to be something the whole family could enjoy together, but alas, Star Trek Discovery is only useful for driving away common household pests like cockroaches, who have better taste than that, and they eat shit.
Roaches eat poop, but they don't watch poop.
And that's why they will eventually inherit the Earth. They will be around long after we're all gone, and 20,000 years from now, when cockroach scientists enter the Forbidden Zone and start excavating into the remains of a human city, they'll find a DVD of Star Trek Discovery and they'll say, yep, it all makes sense now. Any civilization degraded enough to create something like Star Trek Discovery could never survive. Now go ahead and burn those DVDs and let's go find some cold poop to munch on. Yummy.
It's a madhouse! A madhouse! Soylent Green is made out of Kurtzman! It's made out of Kurtzman!
Wow, Harvey. You are so dark, you actually found a way to make Soylent Green even worse. But take heart, my friends. Before I went off on this mini rant about the worst damn thing I've ever seen in my life, I told you that I have news of a rumor from multiple sources that claims the long intergalactic nightmare for Star Trek fans is one step closer to ending because, from what I've been told, Star Trek Discovery may have just shot its last episode. At this point, I'd like to state that what I'm about to share with you is information I have been provided by several sources, but given that I cannot independently verify any of this information, I must ask you to consider this information to be unverified rumor and to take it with a grain of salt. I was contacted by a source that has given me reliable intelligence in the past, and this source claims that it is highly likely that Star Trek Discovery has filmed its final episode and that plans for an additional season beyond this one are being abandoned. Looks like, if this source is correct, with any luck we can finally take a leak on Star Trek Discovery's grave and say, "It's dead, Jim, and it smells like urine."
Well, what exactly happened here, Doomcock? I mean, there's no way it could suck any worse than it already did. Your introduction here just made that very clear. There's no way the ratings could possibly be worse. Star Trek Discovery was the single lowest rated show broadcast on CBS in 2020, and that's a fact. Hell, there's no way interest could be any lower. At this point, the Picard trailer landed with a big thud of indifference, and no one is excited for Strange New Worlds or Prodigy. What straw broke this particular brain-damaged donkey's back?
Budget, Harvey. It may in the end be as simple as the budget. A source directly informed my source that production of Star Trek Discovery has ended, and many production team members who have been employed on the show since season 1 have accepted other jobs and will not be returning as far as they know. I asked my source to please seek confirmation on this rumor for me, and a few hours later, my source returned, having directly consulted their long-term contact inside Viacom CBS, and this is what allegedly happened. Quote, "Got it confirmed they ran out of money and were fighting. The only way they could finish the series was to raid money allocated for season 5. Secret Hideout asked for more money and basically were told to go fuck themselves, that what they were making was already not wanted and worthless. CBS said to Kurtzman, it would be a better return on our investment to wipe our ass on the money and flush it down the toilet." Unquote.
That sounds a lot like you, Doomcock. Did they really say that, or are you pulling our legs?
My hand to God, Harvey, this is what my source told me. As to whether or not it's true, take it with a grain of salt, but this is in fact verbatim what my source told me, and my source has, as I said before, a source inside Viacom CBS, I am told, so if anyone would know, they would. But it's even worse, Harvey. Apparently, everyone wants to put a boot in the side of Star Trek Discovery while it's down, even longtime Star Trek licensees and toy companies. If you recall, Harvey, I reported a rumor years ago, when Picard was in pre-production, that licensees walked out of a meeting with CBS saying they didn't want to deal with any more of this horrible Secret Hideout STD garbage. Don't bother to call them in again until Star Trek goes back to being real Star Trek, original Star Trek with Klingons instead of Klingorks and heroes instead of zeros. The licensees knew they couldn't sell that horrible crap. The public hated the new shows, the new actors, the new ship, and prop designs, and they wanted nothing to do with Star Trek Discovery because it just won't sell.
And is that why we've never had any Star Trek Discovery toy lines?
Exactly, Harvey. They were true to their word. And the longtime licensees have reportedly been royally pissed about the hit the franchise has taken under Kurtzman and the subsequent loss of revenue to toy companies and other franchise-centric vendors, so much so that my source tells me, quote, Playmobil, just despite Secret Hideout, licensed that huge original Star Trek playset and said this show sucks so bad it will sell Star Trek the original series to people who see this, cry how bad it sucks, and get nostalgic for their kids to have real Star Trek toys, unquote. Then my source reiterated that Star Trek Discovery finished production a month ago. It has a high probability of being the final season because they ran out of money and had to spend funds allocated for season 5 just to finish season 4. At that point, I had some questions regarding this. I wrote to my source, quote, so they were already allocated money for season 5? Isn't that kind of weird? What, it was just sitting there and they used it for season 4? Wouldn't there be all sorts of legal trouble for misappropriation of funds? And what, CBS doesn't get the 2 seasons they bargained for? Unquote. To which my source replied, quote, apparently they amortized a season 5. They had a 1-season renewal, but Secret Hideout wanted to split that season into 2 half seasons, but they ran out of money on the first half of the split season, unquote.
So, really, according to this rumor, they were renewed for 1 full season, but Secret Hideout decided to split it into 2 half seasons and just call them short seasons. A 2-for-1 kind of deal. But they used up all their money on the first half of the season, so there will be no subsequent second half because CBS told them to go fuck themselves. Is that right?
That's how the rumor goes, Harvey. Now, I can't say that any of this is verified. I can only attest to the fact that I was provided this information from a source claiming to have knowledge of the production. I've waited for years for this nightmare to end. And while we still have more brain damage coming to us courtesy of Season 2 of Picard, Season 1 of Strange New Worlds, that I'm told is just as bad as Star Trek Discovery, and the horrible new Prodigy show that got shunted over to Paramount Plus from Nickelodeon, and there's a downgrade, at least the cornerstone of this bizarro shrine to ultimate suck may at long last be dead. Only time will tell if some other Tijuana donkey with brain damage and a bankroll will step in, take a look at the Star Trek Discovery budget, say 2 + 2 = duh, and invest. But absent that theoretical jackass, Mikey Spock may jump around on a pizza cutter with a mushroom drive and pixie dust. No more. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Ha 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 ha